have a lot of companies here that are also sponsoring us. For those of you who are offered a sponsorship to Dr. Valero, and if he's declined, you're welcome to contact me, so I can practice my ethical strategies as well. Our postgrad is called Eyes Wide Open, and it would not be wide enough if we don't widen our perspective as well. So we'd like to invite our next speaker, who apart from being a distinguished ophthalmologist, is also the medical manager of the Novartis Healthcare Corporation. Please let us welcome Dr. Peter Paul Ronque.
Okay, so good morning, everyone. I know it has been about 2 hours already from the time that I got here. Can I ask everybody to just stand up for a few seconds and stretch? Okay. Sige, twist to the right. Okay. Twist to the left. Sakit na ba? Okay. If you can, bend forward. And for those of you who still can talaga, bend backwards. Okay. Sige, let's give everybody a round of applause for coming here this morning to attend this postgrad, for which I'm very grateful to the Makati Med Department of Ophthalmology. Okay, so let's do this. I'm not here to defend the pharmaceutical companies. I'm just here to share with you a few things about what we should be looking at or considering or reflecting on whenever we interact with pharma companies. As a few disclosures, no, currently I'm the medical manager of Novartis Healthcare Philippines. I've been with the pharma industry for 14 years, going 15 years already. Novartis is not my first company. And the views that I'm going to express today are solely mine. I'm not here to represent PHAP, to DOH, or even the companies that I work for, have worked for. I'm just here to share some information. Okay, so these are the things that we will discuss today, or we will be made more aware of today. Is anyone here aware what the PHAP stands for? Maybe the older guys, alam natin itong PHAP, no? And have you heard also of yung tinatawag na AO 2015-0053? Okay, sige. So hopefully in the next 10 to 15 minutes, you'll be more aware of that. And the meat of my presentation today will be, I'll be discussing or sharing with you 7 specific guidelines from the AO that will hopefully open our eyes about possible opportunities for us not to be unduly influenced by pharma. Okay, so please take out your phones, scan this QR code if you can. Sige na, go. This is your chance to be able to access the PHAP Code of Practice. So the PHAP is the Pharmaceutical and Healthcare Association of the Philippines. So they have a code of practice, and that it has recently been updated this year, January 2025, and it aligns fully with the Department of Health's Administrative Order 2015-0053. So the PHAP is committed to educational and promotional efforts benefiting patients. Okay, so that's one key thing that pharma companies are doing. They're not just providing the technology, the medications, the medical devices. They're also here to help us, doctors, in improving our educational knowledge. Okay, so they support programs that enhance medical practice, at the same time preserving our independence in making decisions for our patients. Okay, so nascan na po ba natin? Are you able to see it? Okay. Sige, titigil na ako. Basahin nyo na lang yung code of practice. So please go through it, no? It's a good reference for what code of practice most PHAP members adhere to. Okay, so, okay. Please scan this code again. This time, this is the administrative order from the Department of Health. So kung kanina PHAP, not all pharma companies are members of PHAP, but this is an administrative order from the Department of Health. So whether pharma companies are members of PHAP or not, they are supposed to adhere to the guidelines set forth here. So this AO gives us several standards, guidelines, and regulations with respect to how pharma companies provide information or advertise their products and promote their products and do other marketing initiatives like sponsorships and grants. Okay? So the end goal of the AO is to ensure that doctors adhere or are making decisions based on logic, rational use talaga of the products. It's not based on utang na loob because they were supported by pharma companies. Okay, so take note no, that this AO does not only apply to PHAP members, this applies talaga to all pharma companies operating in the Philippines. Okay, so let's now go to some specific guidelines. So I focus on 7 specific guidelines, and these are actually good examples of marketing strategies being done by pharma companies. Okay, so as we go through these guidelines, I want everyone to think about how these guidelines may apply to you. So I can see there are a lot of residents here. Maybe at this point of your career, not all of the things here apply to you, pero like we said, no, we want to start you young, na you have a perspective na not everything that's being pushed to you, you will accept. Or if you do accept, think about it first. Okay, so keep in mind how these interactions may impact your doctor-patient relationships. Okay, so first, about promotional activities of pharma companies. Companies should be providing evidence-based scientific data. Okay, so that's the most important. Pharma companies should be communicating scientific information that's based on robust evidences. And we know some of us here in the audience are tapped by pharma companies to be speakers, but there is a regulation that these events where doctors are allowed to speak should be in settings like this. Doctors should not be speaking or paid by pharma companies to speak in mass media, to allow themselves to be found in print, audiovisual displays, or social media. Okay, so tayong mga mga younger generation, we're very much in social media, no? So let's be mindful of that, no? Na some pharma companies might approach us because of our influencer status. Let's be mindful that it is in the AO that no pharma company, whether pharmaceutical, drugs, or medical devices, should pay doctors to talk about their products on social media. Okay, here also, no, pharma companies should not communicate directly to patients or their families. So some of us, I think, might have that tendency na, sige, just approach this pharma company so that you can buy, let's say, the IOL or the anti-VEGF. Pharma companies are not allowed to deal directly with patients. Okay, so for those of us here who are connected to government centers, please note that government hospitals should not promote products per se. No? There should not be any indication of materials, posters promoting products. Okay? The only instance that, kunyari yan, mga tarpaulin, mga posters about products can be allowed is if that hospital is the venue of a scientific convention like what we have now. Okay, so this is an important marketing strategy of pharma companies, in providing grants, scholarships, consulting contracts, mga educational trips. This can be done, and I will discuss later certain guidelines that should be followed. But again, this should not be done in exchange for recommending and prescribing medicines. Again, when the speakers are speaking, it should still be evidence-based. It should still be balanced. Okay? It's not an endorsement. As doctors, we should not be endorsers of specific products. We present the data on these products. Okay ba yan? Okay, number 2, guideline on symposia and congresses. This might be very relevant to the medical societies, na we should be aware of these guidelines. No? So companies may support seminars, scientific meetings, and third-party conferences, provided the meals provided are modest. So certain companies have thresholds on how much per head should be spent on. So when we do events let's be mindful of the venue that we will choose na hindi naman 4,000 per person ang lalabas na cost for the meals. No? So each company will have their threshold, and some companies siguro 1,000 per head, 1,500, 2,000. But the point is the meals should be modest. Why? Because if you eat in a fancy venue, in a 5-star, 6-star hotel, it creates now an undue parang influence on the attendees na, wow, we were treated to this luxury. And it might influence us in our decisions. Okay, so here in red, no, I put here, no entertainment should be provided to the attendees or even the speakers. And if medical societies or centers, hospitals would request for support, it should come in a formal written request, which should describe the scientific content, who are the target attendees, what is the duration, and what is the projected cost for the sponsorship. As a side note, no, sponsorships are becoming very, very expensive, very costly, not just in ophthalmology, but in other specialties. I think time will come na that this should be reviewed because yun nga, habang tumataas yung transfer of value, this is a term that we have in pharma, no? Parang the expectation of return on investment becomes an issue. But it should not be the case, no? So kaya nga dyan talaga yung balance na what is the cost of sponsoring and what is the expected return of investment. Okay, so the venue, okay, should be conducive to the scientific educational objectives. I think we have experienced before, no, na certain conventions were originally planned to be conducted in resorts, mga country clubs. Unfortunately, at least for the PHAP member companies, they would not really support those events. Okay, so I think this venue is perfect. It's inside the hospital. It's very conducive, okay, for scientific exchange. Okay, so again, no, speakers must disclose any conflict of interest, any financial support that they receive. Okay, so and that's also the reason why organizers of activities like today have to show who are the sponsors. Okay, guideline number 3 is on entertainment and recreation. So again, no, when doctors support our CME or CPD, yung continuing professional development natin, please do not expect or ask for support dun sa mga recreational activities, yung side trip. Okay? So I dare say now, no, let's avoid asking for support for the R&R part of our trips. Okay? So yeah, so further guideline here is the support is being extended to the HCPs, but not to their family members or guests of these doctors. Okay? Number 4, educational items and gifts. So if you notice, no, many companies now do not, sabi nga ni Sherman, don't give out pens, notebooks. Before, usong-uso yan eh. Pero now, wala na yan. Kasi pharma companies should only be giving out scientific information and there should be no gifts talaga. So in red talaga yan. No gifts or personal services and benefits. You might probably hear of the term niya yung servicing, na magpapahatid yung doktor, papasakay siya sa shuttle or sasabay doon sa sasakyan ng medrep. This is only contingent to attending a scientific event. Please do not expect the pharma companies or do not ask your pharma companies to be your personal driver, chauffeur, grocery shopper. Okay, so let's not do that. Okay? I hope nobody in ophthalmology is doing that anymore. Okay? O, sige. So, yep. So yung things that we can receive from pharma companies should have benefit to the patients, should be educational, and should be relevant to the practice. Okay. Okay, this is something that kanina yung na-mention yung case na stinart ni Renz. Doc, malapit na yung PAO Convention. Conrad Hotel, yung venue. Medyo mahal ang per night nun. Okay, so, okay mag-CPD, right? Magpa-PAO Annual Convention tayo. Because this is an opportunity to update our knowledge, no? Pero if and when pharma companies do support us, and usually the guide is, the support, the sponsorship will be provided to siguro yung mga provincial members ng PAO to be able to attend. Pero not for those based in Metro Manila. But again, no, regardless of whether you're from Metro Manila or you're from the province, and if you do receive support, sponsorships, please do not be induced to prescribe or recommend their product. Okay? Some companies will even have a written document stating that the support is being extended to you to enhance your professional development and is in no way an inducement for you to prescribe. So some companies will ask you to sign that. Okay? Okay, so yes, so support is justified if the event is outside the doctor's practice. Okay? So I know sige nga, wag na nga. Okay. Sabihin ko na, okay, some doctors, they will declare two areas of practice. They have a provincial practice and they have a Metro Manila practice. So, sabi nga kanina, kahit na legal, doesn't mean it's ethical. If you know, you live in Manila, or kunyari, nasa Pasay ka, katabi mo lang ang Kotrad, pero nagpa-sponsor ka pa kasi meron kang Cavite practice. Fictitious doctor lang yung taga Cavite, ha? Okay, sige. So just make sure when we get support for CPD, it should be unrelated to prescribing or sale of the product. Meaning, don't approach pharma companies and say, oh, I've been using your phaco machine for the whole year. Ilang packs ang nagamit ko. Baka naman pwede na akong mag-Conrad for 5 days. So let's not do that. They will do that because they want to improve your professional development, not as a reward for your use of their products. Okay? Kito, kanina sinabi ni Sherman na hindi disclose yung support that we get from pharma. It's actually being done, but it's not made public. Any sponsorship, at least for the companies that I've been connected with, they report it to the FDA. So for those who are speakers, may part na nung agreement na you will disclose everything that you get from the company, and then you are also advised that this will be submitted to the Philippine FDA. Okay? And yan, if ever you're eligible to be supported by pharma companies, wag na tayo maghingi ng business class kasi based dun sa AO, only economy class can be provided. Okay? Yan. Okay, so again, our family members are not supposed to be supported. It's just us, the doctors, if ever we will get support. And here, this is part of the guidelines. If you get support for travel to attend a CME activity, we have the obligation to transfer the knowledge in the medical community. Okay, so hindi enough na you just want to develop yourself. The AO actually states that at some point after the activity, you should be sharing what you learned. There's a transfer of knowledge. Okay, and even an agreement will even have to be in effect to ensure that. Okay. Okay, so here, a pharma company can only support us to attend once a year if you're just there as a delegate. But if you're a speaker, member of the advisory board, depending on how many times you will be asked to do that, pwede naman. But it should all be covered by a service agreement. Okay, we're on our 6th guideline. Sample. Sino dito ang hindi nakaka-receive ng sample at all from pharma companies? O sige. Has anyone here received samples from pharma companies? Raise your hand. Samples are good, right? Yung bag na binibigay sa inyo dyan, may mga laman din yata yan na samples. The purpose of the samples is for us to learn how to use the product, to have first-hand experience about it. Okay, so please do not ask for more samples and sell them. There should not be financial gain from the samples. Okay? The purpose of the samples is to gain first-hand experience about the product. You'll be given a limited amount. Choose the right patients. Get your experience. But please do not ask for samples with the intention to sell them. Okay? O dito rin minention na samples are not supposed to be given to to family members of physicians. Okay? So, and even to the general public. Okay? Okay ha, yung samples hindi po binibenta. Hindi tinatanggal yung label na for professional sample use only. Okay, this is the last guideline that I'm going to share. If and when you get tapped as a speaker, we do pharma companies should have a written contract that specifies the service. And the key concept that I want to share is yung concept of fair market value. Okay, so if you will review the PHAP code that you scanned earlier, towards the end, there's a table there that describes the ceiling on honoraria that can be given to doctors. Okay, depending on what role you will do, whether as a speaker, lay for a speaker, you create a module. Pharma companies need us doctors to do this, but meron siyang fair market value. And again, just disclose when you do your presentation that you have received some financial remuneration. Okay, so those are just 7 guidelines that I shared. And I hope you were able to get some practical tips no, on how to deal with pharma companies with regards to these marketing strategies. Okay, so question. Have you been in situations where your independence in making decisions may have been compromised? Yes or no? I hope yes, because it's happening. So pharma companies will push the boundaries, the limits. Para, pwede bang isarado yung pinto para hindi tayo marinig ng pharma? It's okay. Actually, I want them to hear this because pharma should also be self-regulating. But I like what Sherman said earlier, no? Pharma is not the bad guy. Kasi in the end, we are the ones who interface with our patients. So we should be vigilant. We should have our eyes wide open, which is our topic today, to those interactions that we have with pharma. Pharma is a partner. Pharma is not a financier. Okay? So pharma is a partner. So let's keep in mind yung sinabi kanina ni Renz, no, na our primary interest is the patient's welfare. Okay, so we think about it whenever we interact with patients. So our key takeaways today is ensure that your decisions in managing your patients are made in their best interest. Okay? And please promote the rational use of yung products and medical devices. And review the guidelines. So I hope you did scan the 2 documents that I shared earlier because those are helpful. Okay? Be reminded about what is allowed and what's not allowed. So let's maintain professionalism and high ethical standards when we interact with the pharma company. So thank you and good morning.